Hi, I'm Susan Kozak. I'm with the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship. I'm the Division Director for Soil Conservation and Water Quality. I remember in junior high learning about Earth Day and immediately going out and planting a tree with my dad in the backyard. And then in high school, science was always a really important subject for me. So I knew I wanted to do something with science and kind of fell into place with the natural resources and now water quality. So I studied geology at the University of Iowa. I originally went to college for medical technology and quickly found that that was not the major for me. And I remember switching to geology and my parents asking me, what the heck are you going to do with that? And I remember seeing a sign in Ankeny for the Soil and Water Conservation Society, and I thought there's something to that. I could make a career out of conservation, and here I am. You know, when I wake up in the morning and I get excited for work, it's about the challenge each day. We have a lot of growth going on in water quality. In 2018, we received new funding, dedicated $15 million for water quality on top of some other water quality funding that we already had. So that's a big challenge. And I love getting up every day and seeing what thing are we going to solve today, or how are we going to expand, or what's the new partner that we're going to talk to today. So that gets me really excited. It's really important to have all Iowans working toward our nutrient reduction strategy goals. When you look at the Des Moines River where we're standing right now, it's really exciting to think about the changes that we can do on the landscape, whether that's putting in a wetland or a bioreactor, or some of the traditional soil conservation practices that we've been doing for years, like terraces and grade stabilization structures. Those make a big difference as you stack them on the landscape and then look at what the water quality below and downstream starts to do based on those practices. I get very excited about some of the urban practices that we can fund. We do permeable pavers and rain gardens and bioretention cells. So those are things that you can do in urban areas like downtown Des Moines where we're standing. And so everybody can have a part in this. I know I've planted a pollinator garden at my house, and I have a rain barrel that I use to water all of my plants. So those are small things that you can do in an urban area, but they all add up to big changes in our water quality. So when I was younger, I grew up in Ottumwa, so I was a city girl, but my dad would get us out a lot to go to the Isaac Walton Lake, and they had a really nice pond that we would fish in and we would go swimming. It had a suspension bridge that was always kind of exciting and scary to walk across because it swayed. So those are some of the memories that I always think about when I think about water and growing up. We also were just always out on our bicycles and running around and trying to find creeks and whatever to play with and finding tadpoles and bringing them home. So always outside when I was growing up. That was a part of it, even though I'm a city girl and didn't grow up on a farm or out in the country. The thing that really drives me or motivates me is helping my team be really successful. I think in this leadership role, that's an important thing that I've learned, is that my whole job is to make sure that my team have the capability and the tools that they need to be really successful. And when we hit these barriers of permitting or challenges of expanding, that's where I really thrive, of trying to help everybody just be successful. And what do they need so that we can grow our goals even more and get more wetlands on the ground and get hundreds of saturated buffers and bioreactors on the ground every year. That's exciting to see that change and see my team get excited about that. When I think about the future of water quality in our environment in Iowa, I really find hope in just all the people that are excited and stepping up and wanting to do something. I find it very exciting to see our pace and our scale changing on the projects that we're doing. Just a few years ago, there was maybe 5 or 10 saturated buffers and bioreactors in the whole state. And now this year alone, we're going to put in over 100 of those practices. Last year, we had a project that put 60 of them in Polk County alone. And we're seeing that idea grow. And that's really exciting to see. We're also really working on our wetland implementation. If you look back, we typically would do 3 to 5 wetlands constructed every year. And now our goal is to, within the next year or so, get to 30 wetlands being constructed every year. And that's exciting to see that scale of our practices changing. And that's because we have more dedicated funding in the state than we ever have. And we have partners coming to the table wanting to do this work with us. So wetlands are definitely my favorite practice right now that we're working on. When you look at a wetland, you can see the layered benefits of conservation. Not only are we getting the water quality benefits, but you get some wildlife habitat. You see frogs and birds out there enjoying an area that they hadn't been enjoying for a long time. The pollinators are a very big passion for me, and we can usually put some pollinator plants around the buffer of the wetland. And so it's always exciting to see a wetland come in to the landscape, and landowners take pride in that. People in the area perk up and enjoy seeing that wetland. So yeah, those are my favorite, and you get the most nutrient reduction from a wetland for a long-term investment. Whereas like cover crops and some of the management practices, we have to invest in those year after year to have those benefits. But a wetland, you put it in once and it's going to last 50, 100 years and do its job out there for nutrient reduction.